Hey there kickers, and welcome to Kick the Table for Monday, January 27, 2014. My name is Mike and I aim to keep you up to date with Kickstarter projects in the tabletop games category. As of recording, there are nearly 140 tabletop games projects up on Kickstarter and I can't cover them all in one video, so we're going to look at 5 that are finishing up in the next week, and then we're going to look at 18 that have just launched in the previous week. That's all I have for this intro, so let's jump right into the projects and I'll see you back at the end. Coconuts, the crazy monkey dexterity game for 2 to 4 players, is a big hit in native Korea, while now Mayday Games is bringing the game to the US. In Coconuts, a number of cups are laid out on the table, and each player is given a handful of rubber coconuts and a monkey figure with spring-loaded arms. Players take turns trying to launch coconuts into the cups. When you get one in, you put the cup in front of you, get enough cups, and you win the game. But just because a cup is in front of you doesn't mean another player can't land a coconut into it and steal it from you. Coconuts is for 2 to 4 players ages 6 and up. BGG doesn't list a playtime for the game, but I'd expect it to be 20 to 30 minutes. You can get coconuts for a pledge of $23, and if you need to add $15 to ship to Canada or $25 to ship anywhere else. But you can add a second copy of the game for no extra shipping, so stop monkeying about, grab a friend, and go pledge together. Countdown Special Ops from Game Salute is a modular card game which puts players in charge of a special ops team with a special mission. Find hidden bombs and dismantle them, help hostages to safety, or take out terrorist leaders. The game is quite flexible, allowing for cooperative, competitive, and even solo play. You can play a single mission or a whole campaign of missions, leveling up your character as you go. The game comes with 8 game boards, 9 markers with custom stickers, 48 gaming cubes, 220 playing cards and 6 dice. Countdown Special Ops plays 1 to 6 players ages 12 and up in about 30 minutes, and you can get a copy of the game for between $35 and $53 depending on where you need to have the game shipped. Fresco Big Box from Queen Games brings Fresco and all 10 of its expansions together into one big box. In Fresco, players are master painters working to restore a fresco in a Renaissance church. Fresco plays 2 to 4 players ages 10 and up in about 60 minutes. You can get the big box for $70, but there are also pledge levels to bundle the game with other Queen Games titles, Via Appia, the Alhambra Big Box, or Amerigo. Shipping is either free, $15, or $60, depending on where in the world you live, so you might want to check on that before you commit. On a Roll, Leveling Up Your RPG is a new book by Ryan Faricelli that contains theories, wisdom, tips, and advice for players and game runners of all experience levels. The book is divided into 3 sections. Section 1 concentrates on being a better player, Section 2 focuses on running a game, and Section 3 explores gaming in a community of other games. The book will be illustrated by Kari Varner, and you can get a softcover version for just $20 in the US or $26 for international backers. The Dice Tower is a broadcasting group led by Tom Vassell and Eric Summerer, dedicated to using media to promote the hobby of board and card gaming. The team at the Dice Tower make video reviews for hundreds of board games each year. Some of the best podcasts in the hobby, including the main Dice Tower podcast, Board Game University, Dice Tower News, and Dice Tower Showdown. The focus for this year is to make the content even better, and funds raised to date will go towards eliminating advertising from the audio podcast, more top 100 videos from key contributors, the creation of a set of videos that introduce people to the hobby, a complete overhaul of the website, and even a musical episode. There's a myriad of pledge levels, and they often come with great Dice Tower swag and promos for your favorite games, so I strongly recommend you head on over and kick them a buck. Elemental Blast: The Lost Elements is a strategic party game for 2 to 7 players. In Elemental Blast, there is a main deck of cards consisting of 7 copies of each of 7 elements: fire, air, darkness, ice, water, light, and earth. Each of these elements has a special ability when played, but players are competing to get a hand containing 5 of the same element. There is also an expansion available as part of the campaign that introduces 2 new elements, Metal and Lightning. Elemental Blast plays 2 to 7 players ages 8 and up in 15 to 30 minutes. You can get a copy of the game for $18 plus $10 shipping if you're outside the US. They do have a $3 print and play reward tier as well. Eons Cosmic Expansions. Eons is a game of cosmic architects where the players gather elements, form stars which form fusion, and burnout. Each time a star is destroyed, the entropy countdown is reduced, and when it gets to 0, the game is over, and any remaining cosmic bodies produce victory points. This campaign introduces 3 new expansions for Eons which can be added to the base set individually or all combined. Cosmic Bodies, the first expansion, adds binary stars, asteroid fields, orange dwarfs, verdant planets, liquid planets, and civilization cards. Cosmic Technology, the second expansion, adds advanced civilizations, space travel, colonization, more verdant planets, gaseous planets, and more civilization cards. The final expansion, Cosmic Destruction, adds rogue black holes, brown dwarfs, red supergiants, more asteroid fields, earthen and molten planets, and supernova cards. The Cosmic Expansion box also includes the Secret Agenda cards, previously available as downloadable content, and cooperative play scenarios. You can get just the expansion box for $20 plus $10 shipping to the ship outside the US, and for $50 plus $22 shipping you can get the base game and the expansion. Masters of the Gridiron is a fast-paced, head-to-head pro football card game using real teams and players from the 2013 season. Players choose their starting offensive and defensive players and combine them with a playbook of 24 cards. Players take turns laying down playbook cards on player cards with the appropriate skills until players run out of offensive cards. Each deck consists of 54 cards, 13 offensive players, 13 defensive players, 24 playbook cards, and 4 special playbook cards. Each team includes their own printed card box. The campaign page does mention that Masters of the Gridiron is not licensed by the National Football League, and as such they use real player names and stats, but not registered trademarks such as team logos. US backers can pick up teams of their choice for $25. Canadian backers get 4 teams for $39, and other international backers get 4 teams for $45. Flip Flash, a super fast new card game from Naomi Trippi for 1 to 4 players ages 5 and up, is a speed card game that takes about 20 minutes. Players have a pile of cards face down in front of them and create number piles in the middle of the table. Players then all go at once, trying to play their own cards onto the number piles, playing either lower or higher than the number on the top of the number pile, but they must match the colour. This reminds me quite a bit of a 2-player game I used to play with a regular deck of cards called Speed, and I note that the campaign makes this comparison as well. You can get a copy of Flip Flash at the $20 pledge level, and you need to add $5 to ship outside the US. There is also a $10 print and play level. Los Cthulhuchadores, Elder Things in the Wrestling Ring, is a game for 2 to 4 players ages 13 and up. Each player enters the wrestling ring as a Cthulhuchador, which is a mask-wearing Lovecraftian monstrosity. Players select wrestling actions and signature moves to squeeze the ooze from his opponents or coerce the crowd to his evil cult. The game takes 5 to 15 minutes, and you can get a copy at the $40 pledge level with $9 shipping if you're outside the US. There is also a $10 print and play level. Nika, a game inspired by ancient Greek geography and warfare by Eagle Games, puts players in command of the hoplite soldiers of a Greek city. Players sitting opposite each other are in an alliance and win or lose the game together. Each player has enemies on both sides, and units that are attacked from the back or sides can be routed off the board. The 2 cities in each alliance can be commanded by a single player, allowing the game to scale from 2 to 4 players ages 8 and up and plays in about 30 minutes. You can get a copy of Nika at the $22 pledge level, and there is a shipping chart to cover the shipping costs, which show $5 for US backers, $20 for EU, Canadian and Australian backers, and $30 for everyone else. Conquest, a convention-themed card game, brings the unique, hilarious, and totally unexpected experiences of a fan convention to the table game. Players choose one of 12 characters and then set out to explore the convention center. Whoever has the most fun time at the con wins. Watch a parade of cosplayers, do shots with space troopers, and get photobombed by goths in the bathroom. Conquest has 48 Where cards, 60 What cards, and 60 Who cards, along with 6 double-sided player character sheets. You can get a copy of the game for $25, and you need to add $15 to ship outside of the US. Scoville, the hottest farming Eurogame ever. The town of Scoville has hired the players to plant, crossbreed, and harvest the hottest peppers. Each round, players will compete in a blind auction to choose their turn order position, plant peppers in the fields, move their farmer meeples between the planted fields, and harvest peppers based on what is planted in the 2 adjacent fields. Finally, players will fulfill market offers and complete chili recipes by turning in the correct peppers. Scoville plays 2 to 6 players ages 10 and up in 60 minutes. You can get a copy of the game for $40 in the US, $50 in Canada, and $75 elsewhere. The Goose Egg game is a card game that originates from an incomplete deck of cards. The goal of the game is to be the first player to have 5 point cards in your hand equaling 0. There are several strategies you can use, but they all stem from taking the cards you don't want out of your hand and making them your opponent's problem. The Goose Egg game plays 2 to 6 players, and you can currently still get it in on the Early Bird special for $10, after which there is a second to the party pledge level for $15. In both cases, you need to add $8 to ship outside the US, and there is also a $5 print and play pledge level. Dice Empire Season 1 is a collection of beautiful custom 6-sided dice. Honeypot, which have a honeycomb design, Orbital Chaos, which shows planets in an orbit, Dice Nouveau, styled as a 1890s European haute couture, High Rollers showing playing card suits, and 6 more. You can get one of these custom dice for just $4, plus $2 for each additional one. You need to add $15 to ship outside the US, and the shipping costs go up as you add more than 10 dice to the set. Shadow Rift Archfiends is an expansion to the 2012 deck-building game of Shadow Rift from Game Night Productions. The expansion adds new and powerful Archfiends, each with their own decks, allowing them to wade into the middle of the heroes and wreck all of their plans for saving the town of Haven. The Archfiends have a turn just before the hero's act step. Players must turn over a card and either play it, avoid it, or block it. Playing the card often has some kind of negative effect on the game. Avoiding the card puts it face down under the rules card, and the heroes must draw another. Blocking the card places the current card and the next card under the rules card. Why should heroes care about Archfiend cards going under the rules? Well, after the Shadow Rifts are all sealed, the heroes must still face the Archfiend, and they will gain bonuses based on the cards that have been avoided and blocked. US backers can get the Archfiends expansion for a $35 pledge. Canadian backers need a $40.37 pledge, and international backers require a $46.76 pledge. There is also a reward package that bundles in the base game. Straight 8 is a fun family-style card game for 4 players that typically lasts between 10 and 20 minutes. The first player to create a sequence of 8 cards in increasing value wins the hand. You can get a single deck of Straight 8 for $10 pledge, or a pair of decks for $20, with the second deck specifically designed to increase the player count to allow 5 to 8 player games, but still make the cards easy to separate into 2 separate decks if you're playing with less than 5. In both cases, you'll need to add $8 if you're shipping outside of the US. Tortuga from Queen Games is a pirate-themed game for 2 to 4 players ages 8 and up. In Tortuga, you are a swashbuckling buccaneer trying to safely transport your treasures to the legendary pirate haven of Tortuga before other buccaneers, your fellow players, can capture it from you. Players simultaneously roll their dice and assign them in order to put boats in the water, fire off cannons, gather more crew, engage the enemy at close quarters, or move their treasure ever closer to safety. Players are rewarded for their ability to adapt and their quick decision-making skills. A little luck and a hint of greed never hurt a buccaneer either. As of recording, there are still spots open at the early bird price of $39, after which you will need to pledge at least $50 to get a copy of the game. Shipping is either included, an additional $15, or $30, depending on where you will need to have the game shipped. Laser-etched Settlers of Catan hexes and other gaming accessories. This campaign is producing cut and engraved cherry hardwood components for Settlers of Catan, Seafarers, Cities and Knights, and 5 to 6 player expansions. There are several pledge levels, depending on the components that you're interested in, but currently all the pledge levels will only ship to the US. Laringstead, the Game of the Blade Masters, I hope I'm saying that right, is a game developed from the fantasy book series The Chronicles of Sol. The game consists of a modular board allowing for more than 4 players and some nice looking playing pieces in 4 different colours. The campaign is being run by the author of the series, so if you're a fan, you should absolutely check it out. You can get a signed copy of the game for £30, and you need to add £10 to ship the game outside of the UK. Fate of the Norns, Golvig, is a fast-paced card game that involves iconic Norse Viking gods. You bluff, bid, and score your way to victory. The game is based on the Northern European card game called Tuxtanatis, if I said that right. If I'm reading the pledge levels correctly, you need to pledge at least $10 Canadian and then add $5 and shipping to receive a single deck. The campaign runners have mentioned in the FAQ that shipping to Australia is about $3.05. How to Human is a microgame about monsters trying to learn how to be more like humans by hiding their nature. Made as part of the Global Game Jam 2014. This is a pay-what-you-want game. If you want to pay at least $4, you can get a single deck of 15 cards, which is enough to play 3 or 4 players. If you pay at least $8, you can get enough components to play up to 8 players. If you want to ship outside the US, you'll need to kick in $2 or $3 extra to cover the shipping. Grand Tactics Rise of Novice is a strategy board game where players battle for the title of Matilda Defender. At the start of the game, the players will randomly be assigned 4 unique characters with a set of 10 skills each, of which only 3 will be used each game. After picking characters, skills, and assigning items, players will battle on a map of Matilda City. Players assign one of their characters to be their leader, and that character gains some additional bonuses. But if your opponent defeats your leader, you lose. Grand Tactics Rise of Novice plays 2 players, aged 12 and up, for 20 minutes, and you can get a copy at the $68 pledge level with an additional $25 to ship outside the US. Okay, that's all I have for you this week. For a comprehensive list of projects either about to end or just launched, as well as links to all of the campaigns presented in this video, check out the corresponding blog entry over on BoardGameGeek.com. There'll be a link in the description of this video. As this is the first Kick the Table, I'd really appreciate any feedback you might have. There are a couple of ways to provide feedback. You can leave a comment on this YouTube video or on the BGG blog post. You can send email feedback to kickthetable@gmail.com, and you can follow me on Twitter, where I'm @KickTheTable. Hit the subscribe button on the YouTube channel or the BGG blog, and I'll see you back here next week for another exciting installment of Kick the Table.
What if we were entering into a new time? A time when the very systems of control and commerce that we had believed to be the status quo were somehow no longer relevant? What if we were faced with a new medium,